I might be done. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Jett once again with Approach the Nerd. I know, not in the usual setting. This is where we usually record stuff when we do things. All that good stuff. We're doing the social distancing. Sorry, social distancing. You know, everything is kind of crazy right now. Pandemic. Um, Sign of the times, man. But hey, we're still doing things. We're still active, we're still mobile, and of course, I'm recording videos for the channel, for Maria in particular. and she wants me to do another one of Doctor Who. I first didn't want to do this one at all, because I'm, like many of you are, I'm pretty sure, are very upset about this. I'm going to call it a series finale, but I know it isn't. Because, the BBC is going to shell out on this until they just can't do it no more. But, the season finale. Recent end of season 12. The Timeless Children. Now, I know last time we left off talking about Doctor Who episodes, we didn't cover 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken. There was The Haunting of Villa Diodati, The Haunting of Villa Diodati, Ascension of the Cybermen, and of course, The Timeless Children. Now, I would review each one of them separately, but I don't feel there's a point because it's all part of the same continuing story. So we're going to go through the general gist of it in no more like 2 or 3 minutes because the storyline is not that deep. It really is not that deep, fam. Fam is that word again. And then I'm going to go into this dumpster fire of a show. I'm gonna try something nice about it. I'm not gonna guarantee you much, so deal with it. No. Okay, so let's go over what happened. So remember back when Captain Jack was telling them to beware of the lone Cybermen? That doesn't really matter, actually. Just, forewarning. But they come across the lone Cybermen at the house of, Via Diodati. They're going to go see Frankenstein be written in real time. Which should be a Time Lord no anyway, because you're not supposed to mess with fixed events like that. I haven't started before. But he usually goes in before the work is written, or after it's written, sorry. Usually goes in like when he went to go see Christmas Carol and all the other stuff, visiting Charles Dickens, and that was actually an accident. Or when he went to go see Shakespeare do his plays, he didn't go there to stop a thing. It just something happened to have him be part of the cause of which. This season, this doctor seems like they just go when things are happening and try to just interject herself into them. Kind of like she did with, just forgot his name. With Nikola Tesla. Sorry, with Nikola Tesla, yeah. I'm so disappointed. Anyway, they go there to the thing, and it doesn't happen because the shifts are going around. It's like a shifting in time and space. There's a lone Cyberman going through trying to find MacGuffin. It doesn't really matter. And it's supposed to give him the knowledge of all Cybermen history and, give him the infinite knowledge to win all the wars for the Cybermen. As when Captain Jack told the Doctor, don't give him what he wants. The Doctor does anyway because she feels if she doesn't, it will destroy all of mankind and the history of which and the people she cares about and loves. And she still remembers from being the last Doctor, losing her companion to the Cybermen, I'm assuming. So she really refuses to have another companion cyber ties or whatever. So she says no more. Very classic phrase in there. I guess no longer matters because what happens next. And she gives him the space MacGuffin and he leaves. So now they go into the future to fight the cyber war and try to win it. This is all pointless, by the way. They go into the future to lose, because they do lose. They try to get around and kind of escape it, because they were losing, as you do. And then as the Doctor and Ryan kind of went one way, while Yaz and Gran went the other, The Doctor and Ryan come across this guy at the end of some planet. I mean, who gives a shit? Anyway, they come across it, and they're trying to find a way to stop the Cybermen from invading that area to give, because it was like a safe haven for everybody to go to when shit hits the proverbial fan. All right. So anyway, all that goes in naught, whatever, because the Master shows up again from a portal doorway into Gallifrey and tells the Doctor that she needs to come see this because everything she knows about herself and Gallifrey and all that shit is going to change. Who cares? In the meantime, Yaz and Graham are on the ship. Cyberman ship, no less, and they're surviving with all the survival skills they've evidently developed that we don't know because they have no real character development. We don't really know who they are. Still, the best we got was the episode "Can You Hear Me?" and that was really just saying what makes them sad people, not necessarily what motivates them to do anything else. But I digress because that's a whole nother argument for another episode. If there's another episode, by the way. So anyway, oh boy. So they escape the cyber ship. I'm just jumping around here because whatever. Escape the cyber ship. Come down in Cyberman outfits because you can hide inside a Cyberman suit and no one cares and they don't recognize it and destroy them or delete them. They save Ryan and friends and all that stuff. It makes absolutely no sense, especially when I'll get to that in a second. And of course, the Doctor gets put into the Matrix from the Master, and the Master is basically showing her the history of Gallifrey, which I'm going to get into a little more detail in just a moment. I'm jumping around here a little bit. And she learns about the timeless child, which is herself. And I'll explain why. I probably don't have to explain this at all. I guarantee you watch Doctor Who, you know where this is going and why it pisses me off anyway. She destroys the Matrix with her mind and all her past incarnations, which are now way more than we already knew. Because evidently she's not even a Gallifreyan by descent. She's from a whole other universe. And she can regenerate infinitely. As a matter of fact, the Time Lord's generation is because of her. God, I hate that fucking premise. Anyway, and she uses all her memories that she didn't even remember because she can't, and use all those past lives to destroy the Matrix, overload it. And then the old man and the sea, I'm gonna call him that now because what's his name? Who cares, right? You just throwaway character just for plot. It's not even much of a plot to be for, so whatever. From the island everybody's running to, he goes there and takes the other MacGuffin that's supposed to be able to destroy everything if you use it. Like he can blow up all of whatever. Now, this happens because the Master comes across a lone Cyberman and tells him to work together with Cybermen. Yes, that's the Doctor working with Cybermen. I know, a repeated plot they've used over and over again. Matter of fact, the same thing they did in the last Doctor's time by the end of his tenure. I wish they'd be more original. I guess they're not going to try, so who cares, right? Fuck it. So, oh man. So, okay, he works with them and then the Cyberman, lone Cyberman, so he wants to make them all purely robotic, nothing genetic, human-like, whatever, nothing bio-organic inside of them, so they can be pure robots and destroy the universe with number of pure robots. And even the Master was like, that's a stupid-ass idea. Because it is a stupid-ass idea. I mean, you have no better goals, really? You could do the same thing on your own. You don't have to. Whatever. So, anyway. Oh, man. So then he miniaturized that side because he's been miniaturizing people, kind of like on Harvey Birdman and stuff, miniaturizing, right? Whatever. I guess it's what he's doing right now. Which takes him out of the picture. A big deal, by the way, for like 2 whole episodes. And the third episode is like, it was just to lead you on to the point that we're going to change the entire show. That was the whole point. So anyway, he miniaturizes them. And then he does the ultimate. He turns so he destroyed Gallifrey and then he turned all the Gallifreyans into Cybermen. And then designed for them little matching outfits. It is the most, what the fuck is the point? Like, you already had a cyber army. Why would you? Oh, because they can regenerate? Who cares? They're Cybermen. You can just rebuild them. It's not like you're, oh my God. It's just so stupid. Why would you regenerate something you can just rebuild on your own? Whatever. Anyway, so the lone man of the sea comes down, uses the explosive MacGuffin thing, whatever, who cares, and blows everything up. Boom! And Gallifrey is gone. The Doctor escapes, and so she steals 2 more Type 40 TARDISes, which don't make any sense because they were all decommissioned except for the one she stole. But that doesn't matter more anyway. So, who cares, right? We're already fucking with the story. Let's fuck it some more. Or if I say the canon. She steals 2 more of them. She goes in there, imprints herself on the circuits. I know that's not something you would know if you don't know the real Doctor Who lore, watch all the episodes, but whatever. We'll jump back to it maybe in a little bit. And she sends Yaz, the fam, and all them off back to Earth. She sends herself back to her own TARDIS, disguises that TARDIS as a tree, leaves it. Just so dumb. I don't know why she pulled that. And goes back to her own TARDIS, which the Judoon, once again, infiltrate. I mean, this has just a beam on to the TARDIS. Like, there is no more. The TARDIS is supposed to be impenetrable, and somehow people can just teleport onto it. It makes absolutely no sense. But they teleport to the TARDIS, take her away, all Rick and Morty style, and then prison her onto a Judoon prison on a meteor out there somewhere out in space. And that's where it ends. I think that's where the season should end. I think that's where the series should end. She goes to jail and she rots, and that's the end. As you can see, I'm very pissed about this. These last 3 episodes. I don't like them at all. Only thing good about this, I guess, is the visual graphics. They spend a lot of money on computers generating the images. Other than that, man, oh boy, it ruins everything. So making the Doctor the timeless child, non-Gallifreyan creature that can regenerate infinitely and is the reason for all Time Lords being able to regenerate in the first place. Why would you do this? This is Chris Chibnall. He took headcanon and what is basically fan fiction and made it part of the actual canon of the show. This is something you should never, ever do. You know what makes a good writer a writer is when you work with the actual story and you form it in. It's like when you if you ever played a writing game, somebody writes down a sentence, a house at the end of the road, and then you add on, which had broken doors and windows, and then you add on, of which only 1 dog stayed in the house, remembering of their dead master. Now imagine how this story's progressing, right? It's like out of nowhere, right? But there was never really a dog. The dog was a person who ate dog food. Like, what are you doing? Just add on to what we're doing. A good writer can go off of what has been written and improve it. Bad writers try to change the history of it. I know some people are trying to defend it. Some people are trying to defend this whole thing, and I'm explaining why they're wrong. Okay, first of all, this entire series, this season has been so agenda push ridiculous. It's even more agenda push than Peter Capaldi's toward the end of it. Stop pushing agendas. Stop trying to be super woke. Like, you do not create characters based off of race, religion, or gender. Those are not characteristics. You understand? You're born into your race. You're born into religion. You can always change your mind. Depends on you. And you're born into your gender. You can change that now. But still, these are not characters. You are not your skin. You are not your gender. You are not what you worship. If you play your characters like that, they're uninteresting and they're boring. That is not a good storytelling tactic. It's actually very fucking garbage. Don't do it. And I see a lot of even comic book artists are doing it. Just stop that. Who cares they're black or woman or whatever else? Just make them characters. Like, I don't care if you have a female character that is super strong and likes to, punch people in the face and stop cars with one hand and also likes to drink and flirt with women all loud and is lewd and doesn't give a shit. It doesn't make a difference. Stop making the fact that she's a she the reason. Because in this entire series that she's in, every male character is dumb and underdeveloped as hell, and every female character, no matter how gung-ho and ridiculous they may be, or lack thereof of character, void of character, they're always infinitely better and stronger. Look at when Graham was telling Yaz that he thought she was amazing, whatever else, and her only reply back was, well, you're a pretty good human. I really hope and pray that's like something to allude to the fact maybe she's a timeless child and not the Doctor, and the Master was gaslighting her or something. I mean that for real. I'm praying on that, because this series has gone to shit. You know what makes the Doctor amazing? That the Doctor is not special. I mean, by alien standards, for us, she is. They are. But she's just born a Time Lord. They were just born a Time Lord. They were born in noble houses, House Long Barrel for the Doctor. And because of this, they're just traveling space and time. They just didn't like the way the Time Lords were, didn't like how stuffy and diplomatic they are. And then they decided to run off and do their own thing. Scatter the name of the universe. Nobody can know what it was, which is what happened in the stories, by the way. You know the Doctor's name because it's scattered like 30 pieces across time and space. That's why you can't really know it. Only they can, and they can only tell it to you. I guess the other Time Lords of Gallifrey would know it, but who cares, right? But, even then, it wouldn't matter because we now know that the Time Lord, them, himself, has many more regenerations beforehand. And Chibnall, I'm going to say this because I know what you're trying to do, and I know a lot of people get mad about this, about the Time Lord, like the Doctor being first a little girl. And I know a lot of the nerd community is upset about that. For that, I think that's a dumb reason to be upset. Who cares? The Doctor was a girl in the beginning. I don't give a shit. But if you want to play this by ear, the Doctor regenerates indefinitely. As a child, by the vortex, whatever, by the little gate, or whatever, that where Tectayun, who cares, right, found her. You don't know how many times that child has died before it came to that point. She could have died before she got there. She could have been born a boy. Or a hermaphrodite. Who cares about the gender part? That means nothing. That is such a small, unnecessary point. It doesn't even take value in being brought up as a point. See what I'm saying? It's not that. That's the thing, This is the most shark jumping shit that this show has ever done. And I mean that sincerely. He really just completely said, fuck it, and just changed the entire canon. It's so nihilistic, is what the problem is. You took the agency from the character by focusing on what she is, like as if she's just important from the start of her past and history, instead of what she's going to do. That's what makes a character. It's the forward progression of movement. The past shit doesn't matter. See, when you're talking about the past of the story is more important than the character. Now we're talking about essentialism out of existentialism. And it's the existence of the character that matters for the character development. When you talk about the essence of it, we're not talking anymore about the character. It's just the story around the character that evolves. It's like when you're telling, Doctor Who was turned from a sci-fi to a myth story. It's now mythology at this point. You gave the Doctor godhood. The Doctor's a god, and anything that he or she does now no longer matters. It's all unimportant. What's important now is how the universe works around this character. That is not the show people signed up for. And that is not good storytelling. That only was good if you're trying to present a moral or some kind of point, like an allegory or a fable or a myth. We don't watch sci-fi for myths. That's not the point. And I wish Chris Chibnall was smart enough to know better. He's so used to doing dramas and shit, and when he came to a sci-fi show, he tried to, and it doesn't help that. And I don't dislike Jodie Whittaker, and I think if the writing was stronger, she could do better. I really feel this. And I know she's not a Doctor Who fan. I know she wanted Doctor Who from the first place, and then in all honesty, she should not have been hired for the role because of that. But Chris had a blinkered vision. He was looking at this shit all fucking cross-eyed and decided that, well, because, I want to do a certain thing and completely change the show based on what I want to be, I'm just going to completely rewrite it. Like, don't do that. Just, like I said, everything from Trenzalore to River Song, even sacrificing herself, all that stuff is pointless. The Time War means absolutely nothing. And it was such a good way to revamp the show and bring the Doctor back into it and explain why the show was on hiatus for so long. It's cruel. It's a very cruel joke to play upon all the fans that watched over so long. And now they have to suffer this shit with the viewer ratings. No one's going to recommend this show. Now, we're not going to go back and go continue watching this. As a matter of fact, if I do watch this show again, it's going to be after all the stuff has been shown and it comes out on DVD, or I can just download or stream for free. Yes, I will pirate it if I really must watch it, or watch it because somebody else was ignorant enough to buy it in the first place. I just can't. I cannot. I'm so into Doctor Who, and it just completely. Look, I understand headcanon. Everybody has their own headcanon for their shows, and who likes who wants who does whatever, all that good stuff. But keep it as headcanon. Don't introduce it as some brand new shit. It's one thing when you change certain parts of like just small aspects, like let me think. Like for example, after another child, when he's explaining about the TARDIS with him, he's calling the ship and everything else, and then they later on confirm it to be a TARDIS, and then later on, I think it was in oh man, what was it? Um, the two doctors. That's what it was. Two doctors. The Rassilon imprint or imprintation. I don't know. They explained that when Time Lords get into a TARDIS, the TARDIS symbiotically links with them biogenetically, so they can actually function. Without it, if you go into any kind of TARDIS beforehand, it'll disintegrate after too long because you're not a Time Lord. It needs to be accessed by a Time Lord first. And if they find out you stole the TARDIS, like the same way me did, which makes, fuck it, right? Who cares? I mean, that's around the time they started fucking with the show's canon anyway. But even then, it wasn't big and much of a change as what they did. If you try to steal it by the Time Lords, that's a death sentence. And if they find out you stole it and capture you, they'll kill you. They can't kill me anyway, but and of course, Clara's already dead, but whatever. But even then, it's a small change. It's not changing the entire history of the show. You're only adding on to it. You add on to story. You don't. Retconning is being such a thing, even in comic books. And comic books is a little bit different because you can alternate universes shit. This is all the same universe. This is all in the same world. Could you imagine if, like, Supernatural, for example, like in this last season, they decided something really dumb, like make it whereas the Winchesters were a legendary family and they were always meant to be hunters, and this was all preordained by something bigger than God even, and oh my God. And then the Winchesters actually lived again before, at a time when the world wasn't the world it was before Eden and all that stuff, and they were always protectors of the realm or some bullshit. Wouldn't that piss you off? Because it takes away from the fact that they're characters doing for the character's sake, not for the story's sake. They made it where it's for the story's sake because it's agenda pushing bullshit. They're trying to make it whereas like, well, we're always just great. And it's even worse they're doing it that way because it goes into that weird dumbass stereotype that women are all about who they are and not what they do. And once again, that's a bias. And they're playing on the exact same bias through storytelling. And I wish they would stop. I wish they would stop doing it. It's this gender politics. It's gender politics. And I hate that shit. As if women are only based upon who they are. No, women can be based on what they do. So men can be based upon who they are. But storytelling doesn't work that way. It's bad storytelling. It's dumb. It just took Doctor Who and rewrote the whole thing with crayon. Even giving the Ruth Doctor a fucking police box TARDIS. Why? What the hell was the point of that? Like, we know he had the police box TARDIS because he got stuck in the communion circuit. You're about to tell me now that, oh, evidently it's always been that way. They just keep wiping his memory so he forgot. What was the point of running away? What was the point? You know what would make even better sense? Maybe like the Doctor is actually Tectayun, but like rewoven as a Doctor. And some part of her remembers being so cruel to this child. Because yes, Tectayun killed the timeless child over and over and over again to figure out how to regenerate, which is so fucking cruel and unnecessary. But because of that, that's why he has a natural tendency to run away and leave Gallifrey and all the other shit. Which is still dumb because it doesn't make any sense to why they wish to help people. Just because you want to work for your problem means you want to save the world. Who cares? It's not even how the weaving thing works anyway. You don't keep those kind of memories, so they just ruined the show. They ruined it. And I mean, I still will watch older seasons of Doctor Who. Honestly, for me, like Chris Eccleston and David Tennant's tenure are my favorites. That's right now, especially. It made me remember a happier, easier time where stuff was just developing. It was fun. But now it's just Just some bullshit. But anyway, keep on keeping on. Run fast. Always be kind. And never eat pears. It's ruined one of my favorite shows. But you know what? That's all I'm gonna have for y'all. I don't want to run this video too long because I can literally rant about this forever. And I honestly didn't want to do this video in the beginning because it made me so upset when I watched the episode. And I didn't want to relive it. I didn't want to revisit it. This is actually worse. I thought the arachnids in the UK was really bad. And you know which one I'm talking about. You know the episode I'm talking about. I thought that was the worst episode. Ever. That environmentalist shit they were trying to pull. But this, oh my God. I thought the Power 3 was a bad one with the cubes that did nothing. But this shit here, oh my God. How much retconning can you do? This completely invented the show for themselves. Now they're going to do their whole agenda pushing shit. Now this show is basically Captain Planet with less plot. You're welcome. Enjoy that. Anyway, I'm done with this rant. Hopefully I'm not done with Doctor Who, but it feels like it. Of course, here's the outro card part. Make sure you like this video. If you do, if you don't, I don't know. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you want some more videos like it. Of course, I am Jett Groove. This is Approach the Nerd. And I will see you nerdy jurors later on. Hopefully about a video or a topic that's way better than this one. Because this has made me upset. Alright, y'all. Live long and prosper, I guess. If that made you mad, good. Now we're on the same page. Shit. And stay in the house.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.